Hi, everybody. Sango and I are back, and we're going to read more stories.
Ooh.
And we actually have the microphone set in a way where you can hear us better.
Woo!
So we did, like, work. Anyway,
yeah.
let me scooch myself over here.
Scoochy scooch.
Doing the scooch.
The scooch.
So this is a story from our friend River.
Woo!
Hi, River.
Hi, River.
This is the Satori story. I don't know what that is, but it's making me very nervous. Let's. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Hello to Moon. Hello. And Sango.
Hello, baby.
Two amazing and talented people who I'm lucky to call my dear friends.
Oh.
Who spoil me with their kindness. Oh, you're too kind. We love you.
How did we spoil her?
Hello also to this beautiful community who I could not be more grateful to be surrounded by. Aw, you guys really are the best.
Oh my goodness.
I was so pleased by your response to the first collection of Smule stories that I sent to you. In fact, I've received 2 more stories from the group members that inspired this post. Ooh,
Oh
boy.
boy.
Smule has its share of negative people and drama. It also has its share of creeps. Because, basically, it's a social media and its users take what comes with it. I've heard it called singing Tinder.
Oh my gosh.
Since many of you have some context for what goes on in Smule, I'll use the story to tell you more about groups. Now, groups communicate through group chats on an app called Line. A free app like WhatsApp, except you don't need to share a phone number to get contact details.
Ooh.
Many people who have Smule also have Line. To begin, I'll share 2 anecdotes that I received over Line from members of my group, Satori.
Oh, okay, cool.
Right on.
Once, in a live jam, a guy decided to show his privates to us all mid-song.
Oh my lord.
Funniest thing because it looked like a shriveled pickle.
Oof.
With a couple of pickled onions on either side.
Oh no.
My remark was, I didn't know I was getting dinner and a show. Usually you pay for that shit. He immediately left. Funniest thing ever.
Oh man. Reminds me of dealing with people on Omegle. Another I can't quote as well as I can read through it and explain what she's saying because she uses a lot of terms specific to Smule, but this is her story. She and 2 of her friends made a private video between themselves in underwear of the song Milkshakes. It was innocent fun between them, and it was meant to be their own little joke. Her friend shared it to a group they were in by mistake, and the group in question was against funny sexual humor, so they got kicked out of the group.
Oh.
Honestly, she feels better that she's away from them. I can understand that. They're still good friends, and they still laugh about the whole thing now. She says that it's hard to really find groups that you click with, and she's in 2 of those now, Satori included.
I really love that these 2 shared their stories, and I look forward to getting some more from people for you, or to get people to send you their stories. Now, I'll tell a little story of my own experience in group.
I mentioned in my first story that I was quickly thrust into a group setting soon after joining. I didn't know at the time that this group was a semi-elite Smule group, for one. That's how people who are familiar with Smule groups describe it. For 2, I didn't know the content of everyone's character. There's a kind of self-important attitude amongst a few of the members, and some appeared truly genuine, but weren't.
Ugh.
Gotta love those people. While I'd rather not get into this part of the story, I will say that the people that I had come to trust since I was 19, who had been there for me through some very traumatic times, couldn't love me without the context of the group. In the group, I was a presence. Very few people actually got to know me, but they'd speak to me as though they did.
Ouch.
When I felt I needed to leave the group to focus on life, there was a lot of misinformation going around. Their expectation was that I'd been left without Smule friends. I was expected to be a product of this group, maybe even nothing without this group. I know this because someone told me later. Not every member was or is like that, but as weak and as much of a pushover as I am, I would rather be surrounded by people who genuinely care about me no matter what kind of group I'm in.
You're not weak.
I genuinely hope that the group that we've kind of built is the kind that can help people whenever they need help.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I've seen, you guys have done a fantastic job of that. I'm very proud of all of you.
Yes.
What my old group didn't count on was the sheer number of people on Smule that I knew outside of that group. Some of them still show up in my current live jams, and I would hear from other people that they were extremely upset about me developing new bonds with better people.
Whatever.
I understand feeling the need to tell the person in question they're being talked about behind their back, and while I appreciate the sentiment behind it, I stopped caring about what they think.
Woo!
I've been in groups since, and I'm in a few now. I'm also a chorus member in a recorded production of Spam-A-Lot. I still talk to some of the members of my first group, but only the good ones. One of the groups that I'm in is called Satori, and it was started by my amazing friend Jacques. He's a good man, and he works extremely hard every day to get where he feels he needs to be. I first encountered him in a friend's live jam who I'd not seen in a while. Now, provided the live jam functions properly, when two people pick a song or a voice acting track and script, a prompt comes up asking the singers to pick part 1 or 2. Boone, you've not been in a live jam with me since I started doing this, and that's because Smule hates me, and every single time I tried to, it breaks. I don't know why. It literally does that all the time, and I have absolutely no answer as to why. But I've taken to asking the person I'm singing with to pick heads or tails on a coin and flipping it. If the side the coin lands on is the same side as what the person said, I ask them to take part 1. If it's different, part 2. Unbeknownst to me until later, but known to my friend, and another reference for you, Jacques loved that I did this. I didn't think he cared one way or another about my existence until he showed up in my live jam one day. He told me he loved my energy and spirit. We sang Wanted, Dead or Alive, and he invited me to join his group. I'll give a part of the group description that Jacques wrote. We'll work as a collective, not as a boss, founder, and leaders demanding things. Our fundamental principles of this group: to share your self-expressive art, to build and support our Satori family, to gain insight of new artists and great music, be different, unique, ourselves without striving for popularity, hollow Smule likes, and or competing with one another. All ideas, dreams, needs, assistance are invited to be shared so that we may help lift each other up in our common passion and pursuit of sharing our soul's expressive vibration through art. Very nice. My first group claimed to be something like this, but it wasn't. I agreed to try it out, and if it didn't work, I was prepared to do something else. I gave it a fair amount of time, because I'm anxious, and things worked out. In the middle of all this, I got to know Jacques better. Jacques has a similar sense of humor to myself. I make a reference to older movies, television shows, and music that a lot of my friends don't get, but he does. Not only does he get them, but he also shares a fondness for them. That is to say, nostalgia is a pretty big deal. It didn't take long after realizing this to notice his way of relating to people. He just talked a lot more than I was used to, but not in a way that caught me off guard. Not only that, but he was always very kind to me, and the community that he built is welcoming. It isn't conducive to childish drama. He just doesn't want to put up with it. Everything I hope is sounding familiar. This guy is like a chattier version of Moon. As is the case with most people, a different outlook on life. I didn't think anyone could possibly talk more than me. I take that as a challenge.
Oh, no.
Of course, I go on and on to my Smule friends about Moon, Sango, and all of you lovely people. Aw.
Oh my.
In fact, there are people from the Smuleverse on Moon's Discord server. I've got to say, out of those who I've brought into the server, Jacques was the most excited. He came in about as starstruck as I was when I'd first joined the server and hopped into a voice call. He loved it, and it warmed my heart how much he engaged with my interest as much as I engaged with him. When it was about time for my girlfriend to visit me, this was in August, I was nervous and excited. All of my group chats and really all of my friends were excited with me. This includes Satori, despite the fact that I was so new. They entertained my making sure that everything was absolutely perfect, my excitement, even my nervousness. It didn't matter that I was new. They never treated me like I had to earn my place. I'm just one of the family. Jacques made it clear that he was there right along with me. He saw my girlfriend as someone who genuinely cares about me in every way that I need in a partner.
Aww.
That's really sweet. I haven't had the easiest time when it comes to relationships since my first. I felt pressured to be a certain way or to say certain things, and I had this idea in my head that a romantic relationship had to meet certain criteria. You know the criteria I mean if you've ever been in a relationship with crazy to abusive partners.
Oh.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I should have known that that wouldn't be true with my girlfriend now, but she understands my mind. At least I knew I'd never have to replace my first love. But in being with my current girlfriend, I feel like I finally see what a relationship is supposed to be like. I was able to discuss that in Satori pretty easily.
Yay!
Of course, everyone in Discord showed the same support in a different way because you all know me, but you dear ones all know what you've done for me and continue to do more for me, I hope. Anyway, I didn't have that in my first Smule group. There's no way that I could have had that. I was a member, therefore an obligation, and not one of the favorites. I shouldn't have to feel like a lost cause anymore. I've always had amazing friends in life, and I still very much do, but Satori had been an amazing addition. They are all collectively genuinely supportive and loving people, and I feel like they care about me as much as I care for them. We're always lifting each other up, and Jacques was the one to make that happen. Jacques undervalues himself. Also, like you, Moon, he's done so much and brought together a family of people who love each other and him unconditionally.
Oh.
I mean, I just read things on the internet. For me, all of this is helping me to find value in myself, what I do, and what I enjoy doing. It's hard for me to distinguish sometimes when people are there for me for what I have to give, and when people are there to put me under the metaphorical microscope as a case study, and when people genuinely love me. So it shocks me a little when people show that they truly care. And I've had a lot of that, of people. And I've had I'm just having trouble reading this. And I've had a lot of that of people to thank for putting forth that effort for me.
Okay.
This is why editing exists. Smule, like I've said, is a social media with its share of creeps, but it's also filled with these good, amazing, incredible people who I look up to. So I'm happy that I've found this. I'm happy that I can sing in the company of good people who make using the Smule platform fun, exciting, and meaningful. Now that I've shared my own story, I'll bring in Jacques. He's the creator of Satori and has become such a good friend to me. He spoils me with his kindness, like some people I know, Moon and Sango.
Aww.
Music has always been a passion of my life, but I've had a lot of traumatic experiences that led me away from thinking I was good at music. Comments my mother had made, loss of recording contracts, puberty that changed my voice, all made me think less of myself, and I gave up on myself. I became a shower and car singer. I know that feeling. Through a separation with a lover of 7 years, music became my therapy, especially knowing of my diagnosed mental issue, PTSD.
Oof.
I started singing on Smule in November of 2018 because a friend showed the app to me on Thanksgiving. And at that time, I qualified for Karaoke World Championships. I was so afraid, filled with self-doubt, but I jumped in. My life on Smule started very slowly. I only had less than 100 followers for the first 3 months, but the people who I encountered were genuine, talented, and truly caring. I saw the good in Smule as I began to experience more and more of the Smuleverse. I was warned about the dark side of both Smule and Line. Being the positive shot glasses wearing individual, our word for rose-colored glasses, I saw the best in everyone and chose to believe that this couldn't be true. The more I met people who were C, D, B, or A listeners, aka people with more than 15k followers, the more I was asked to join groups. The first group that I joined, I was welcomed with open arms as an A listener. I was hungry for it, and all the attention. I jumped in head over heels, as one would say, but I realized that groups were more like chat groups and less about sharing, supporting art. I reached out to the founders to ask how I could be a better supporter, but the founders' response was I was egotistical and only wanted popularity. Classy. When nothing could be further from the truth. I think artists are all wounded in one way or another, and I only truly speak to support and to collaborate with artists. Needless to say, I left this group, and several other groups presented, again, with less commitment. I wanted no competitions, no pitting oneself against another. But I learned quickly, as a new member, that you were like fresh meat to a slaughter. Excessive joins, ample hollow likes, people who like songs without actually listening to them, and just as cliquey as the group that I originally joined. I also saw a community of individuals who were genuinely the same as me. They believed in the song therapy. They were singing because they liked to sing. They wanted to sing because they loved singing. People who loved to sing joined them. They appreciated the artistry of it. Life began to take worse of a turn, and I felt a calling to bring together artists who appreciated art and appreciated the human spirit. That were vulnerable with insecurities, mental, physical conditions, and realized that vulnerability is what makes great artists. I wanted people who were willing to share with each other. I decided to start a small group of people that would follow me from the beginning that were always there. It didn't matter they had 16 or 16k followers, they appreciated art. I chose the name of the group to be Satori, another word for instant illumination, truth, and enlightenment, because I felt that was what we're trying to achieve, sharing our vibrations, lifting ourselves, and lifting others up as well. Every person that I inquired to join this group said that they weren't ready for a new group. They had a bad taste in their mouth, something that made them feel like less than the artists that they were. They just wanted to sing, love and be loved, share art, and that's why Satori is based on what it is. Every person that has joined Satori has been more active than they have ever thought they would be. They found family with us, and I'm proud to say that everyone feels that way now as truly as they did from day one. I'm continually overwhelmed by the support of this family gives to one another, not only in music and arts, but I mean physical arts as well. Some weave, make jewelry, some make blankets, some are makeup artists. Some also have physical diseases, some mental, but from the time a new member enters, we embrace them. We see the humanity inside of each other and the humanness that we have to bring. It's overwhelming to myself continually, not only the support that I receive from the group, but to see continual stories of people conversing between members outside of the group. We somehow intuitively know if someone's going through something, and we stand beside each other no matter how many followers or likes we have, because I believe that we truly do love each other. I think, regardless of whether it's on Smule or in life, that's something to be cherished. I know deep in my soul that each person in our family would travel halfway across the world to support another, if need be, would stay up all night even if they had work the next day, just to make sure the other was safe asleep. I often am seen as a leader of the group, but continually remind them that I work with them and not over them. We are all pillars of this family. When people thank me for bringing us all together, I say that we all came together and we all solidified that connection. I just opened the door. My personal life crumbles around me, and it's crumbling around me, but Satori lifts me up. more than my actual physical family does.
Ouch.
They understand and appreciate me for who I am. The good, the bad, the indifferent, and that's the mortar between the pillars of the bricks of our art. It's the humanness. This may seem odd to people. Oftentimes when I'm talking about it, it feels like I'm talking like an Instagram star or something. That's not the case. I just care about the people in Smule and their genuine nature. I can't speak of Smule as a whole. The Satori family that we've built has been closer and dearer, more empathetic, and more understanding, and fuels me more than people in my immediate reality. I'm so grateful for my dear friend River, who has introduced me to Moon and his amazingness. Aww, you're too kind. She's one of the most wonderful and beautiful people that I've ever met. She cares and loves so deeply that sometimes it's painful. I'm very much the same way, but that's what Satori is all about. We're able to be vulnerable with each other. I think vulnerability is a beauty and a strength, and life is lacking that a lot. It would change a lot if people could be more vulnerable with each other and realize that we're all wanting, we're all longing, we're all trying to love the best that we possibly can, but we need love in return. I'm eternally grateful for my dearest River. Every single person that has come into Satori has been absolutely amazing, and my heart swells every single day with the depth and intensity of love that is in there.
Oh my goodness, it's gonna burst!
I find that oftentimes people are talking outside of the main chat, and that warms my heart even more. They're building bonds and relationships that I hope will last a long time. We do all truly love each other. When I first began on Smule, it was a slow process of understanding. I had some guides that told me the way things were, and I wanted to not believe it. I quickly understood that fresh meat goes to the slaughter very quickly, and things can go awry very fast. People can be very self-absorbed after the fame and the popularity. That's why I felt the need to create Satori. It was for something different. I couldn't have imagined how different it would be than anything else that exists on Smule. It's in our mission statement that we're a family. They are all so brilliant, and sometimes I can't even deal. I love every single one of my brothers and sisters, and I know that they love me as well. Singing has always been therapy, something I did in the shower in the car, and Smule gave me an outlet to share that with the world after a lot of struggles and downfalls in the music community. I used to sing backup for Amy Grant with the Oregon Boys Choir. Wow, I didn't know that. Michelle Branch and I were supposed to have an album together, and those kinds of things weigh on you. The little things that people say about your voice, not just about your singing voice, but your voice in general, and the validity of what you have to say. I've been so blessed to, in less than 1 year, find people who truly value me and build me up, and I hope that I can do the same for them. A struggle that I face in my Satori family, and I don't even know if all of you could call it a struggle, but I believe it's that artists truly have a deep sorrow for what they've experienced, but they've felt or feel pain. The vibrational release of that art is singing in a way to express, to let that out. I feel so deeply for each and every single one of the family members that it can be hard sometimes. What's so beautiful about it is that we lift each other up and we feel the same way about each other. I can't imagine a more beautiful way to be existing, to be surrounded by people, even if it's through telecommunication and the internet and Smule. They feel and care and make you feel valid. I think that's what we all want as human beings, to be seen for who we truly are. I'm extremely grateful to my Satori family. Through all that's bad in the world, I've found good. That good has coalesced into this beautiful family.
I really don't think there's much more I could possibly say, dear sweet people who are listening to and reading this, other than to remember to have courage, be kind, and be very good to yourselves. Remember to eat and to hold your loved ones close. You're all important, and you have gifts beyond what you know, and of course, I love you very much. this has been the second installment of Smule Stories, and there will be more to come.
I have no idea about this app because, like I said, I've barely used it, so I really don't know much about it. Good job. So I really don't know much about it, but yeah, it sounds like a pretty great thing. It sounds like you guys have found a lot of happiness and good stuff there, and I'm really happy about that.
And love,
true
love.
So yeah, we I don't know much about singing. I'm not much of a singer.
I did choir years ago.
I don't
like
have the
years
voice.
ago.
I don't have the voice for what you would call good singing. I have the voice for reading things and probably more like angry punk rock. Not a very good tone.
I think you sound beautiful.
Oh, well, thank you. But yeah, I mean, I understand this whole thing about music. So let's move the microphone a little bit between us. I understand this whole thing about music because when I was younger, before you and I met, actually, my kind of sort of want for I guess you could call it a career, for an expression, for something, was that I wanted to be a guitarist. I taught myself how to play guitar. I'm not the greatest, but, you know, I'm pretty good. I spent a lot of time practicing, learning different things, and doing all this stuff, basically just teaching myself a bunch of different songs, because I couldn't afford a teacher, and nobody was going to teach me, so I did it myself. On more than one occasion, I recorded a bunch of sample tracks and a bunch of things I could with what rudimentary and beat-up hardware I had. Those tracks stayed up on SoundCloud for about 3.5 years. I linked everybody I knew at the time to them, and not a single person listened to them.
I did.
One person listened to them. Yeah, nobody else cared. So that was like super disheartening. So I just kind of was like, well, if my family doesn't even care, then what's the point? So I kind of gave up. And like I said, if it wasn't for the fact that I decided to try writing one last time, I wouldn't be doing this. I
encouraged you.
Yeah, you really did. My entire thing for that, like I said, was I was going to try writing these funny stories on the subreddit, the old Neckbeard subreddit, which I wish I still had those stories.
It's okay.
I decided I was going to try them one last time, and if nobody cared, if nobody read them, if nobody, said anything, then I was just going to give up on it altogether. And I know that, like, creating art and stuff like that is not specifically for the validation of having an audience, but when your art is performance and the only expression is to perform,
you need the audience. Exactly.
Not having an audience is super defeating. That was exactly how I felt with my music. It's fun to play this, but if I'm only going to do this for myself, then I still have to find a different job, and I have to give up on this whole idea of, like, playing in a band or anything like that, because no one will care. And as it turned out, that kind of was the case. Nobody really looked into it. Nobody seemed to care. A lot of people, years later, family even, were just like, oh, I didn't know you play music. It's like, yeah, for like 10 years. So, I mean, yeah, that's kind of my personal experience with that. It was just a lot of stuff that just, I sought validation and didn't find it, and then in the last moment, like, something came out of it, and now there's this, which is not exactly what I expected, but I'm very happy nonetheless.
Yes.
So this video is really friggin' long. I just looked at the clock. It's like 30 minutes. So we probably should end this video, actually, unless you have anything you want to add, babe.
No, I don't really have that much to add. It's very good and encouraging that you found a group before the Discord server that you can call supportive and family.
Yeah.
Because it's very difficult, especially artists like me who's more into like illustration drawing. I have a hard time having or finding a group like that.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I'm afraid that if I show my work, no one's gonna like it, or if I show my work that, you know, to somebody that does the same things I do, they'll just be like, well, you should do this, you should do this, because it's the norm. Yeah. And I don't want to do what the norm people do. You know, I want to make stuff that no one's done before, or make something that comes from my brain.
Yeah,
so.
Expression is important.
Mm-hmm.
But with that, thank you all for watching.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, mainly because it pisses off YouTube. And
check out his Patreon. Please donate to his Patreon.
Yes, because much like PBS, this show is sponsored by viewers like you.
Also, check out his merch store. There's brand new stuff.
Yes, I actually went through it the other day and added a few more things. So there are new items because Threadless doesn't tell me when one thing is added. They tell me when like 5 things are added, which I get it. That's logistical. It makes sense. But at the same time, it's like I only find out whenever I start poking at it and be like, whoa, water bottles.
So please check it out.
Yeah,
it's
you
really,
never
really
really
cool.
know. Yeah, you never know what the hell's going to be in there. And that makes a bunch of us, because I never know what the hell's going to be in there. I like to pretend that any of this makes sense. It doesn't.
No.
So thank you again, and we love you all so very much.
And we love you, River.
We do. And thank you for sharing your stories. And if you guys have any stories, make sure to send them to the subreddit at r/Moonhorse Stories. I check it every day because I have no life. Anyway, we love you, and we'll see you in the next video.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.